Okay, welcome to Rolling Solo. This is a podcast where we're going to play some Solo DnD. Doing as little world building and looking ahead as we can as soloists, and trying to just let the dice and the game be the things that they're going to be. So, I'm Paul. I'm going to be playing this game and being the dungeon master and doing everything else. Damn it. Hold that thought. All right, we're going to start this thing now. Let's roll solo. To roll solo, we will need dice. We will need index cards. We will need pieces of paper. We will need lots of things. And we will need imagination. So let's begin by session zeroing. As was promised in the video title, we will session zero. We will build a character. So the first thing we need to know if we're going to build a character is what kind of character are we going to build? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and choose a race for our character. To do this, we're going to need a D10. We've got a table here that has all of our races, well, a limited number of races from dwarf to tiefling, and then 10 is a reroll. So these are just using the standard races for now that we would use, out of the SRD. So it's a 4. We're going to play a human, and that is the first thing that comes up for me on that, is that it kind of shows the value of doing this, because I never play humans if I can possibly help it. It's my least favorite of the various D&D backgrounds and ancestries, because why wouldn't it be? I am a human. I'd rather play something that's not human, but we have chosen human by rolling that 4. So we're going to have a human character. Wow, for the remainder of this whole campaign. Rough. Okay, well, that's just the way it is. Now we're going to pick we're going to roll our D20. We're going to roll a D12. I got a lot of D12s. There's a reason for that. But this one is particular. We're going to roll to see what our class is going to be. We've got Barbarian through Wizard. That's a 6. Monk. Human monk. Okay. Interesting. Again, not something I've ever played before. We're not going to play any variant humans. We're just playing a standard human. We're not going to figure out what languages our human knows yet. But when we have a monk, we have to choose what our monk proficiencies are going to be. So our monk proficiencies can be, looking at this, we've got acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, and stealth. There are 6 options. We will roll our D6. And what we find is that we have a proficiency in 4. Acrobatics, athletics, history, insight. Same roll, but if we roll a 4, we'll just roll again. 2, athletics, which is unusual for a monk. We would usually pick acrobatics. Choose a musical instrument or artisan's tools. There are so many of these to choose from that we're not even going to roll. we're going to let something else make that decision for us. And I'll show you how that works in a bit. And we'll just use all of the possible options here. Okay. So let's figure out what our skills are. We'll go with that. We're going to need our 4d6s. Now let's roll. And at this table, we re-roll ones when we're doing this particular job. Okay. 2 5s and a 4. So our first number is 14. We got a 1, 2 4s, 2 2s and a 4, and a 6. So that gives us a 12. Gives us a 6. We got a 5. We got a 2. We got another 1. We'll re-roll this one. Ooh, we got a 6. 6, 6, and 5. So that gives us a 17. Two 5s and a 6 for a 16. All right. We're going to keep this 3. Everything else was outside the box, or a 1. So we're going to roll everything into the box. We're going to keep this 6. This is 2 1s. This is it. This is our last roll. If we get a 1 or 2 1s on this, we're just going to live with it. Okay. There's a 4. There's a 5. Okay, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last roll. We got a 3. We got a 4. We got 2 1s. Only one re-roll on this one. We got a 4. We got a 1 for an 11. So our stats are 14, 12, 17, 16, 14, 11. Where are we going to put these? And we're a human, so everything that we get goes up by 1. So I think monk, no-brainer. Our top stat is going to be, let's put that 18 in dexterity. We've got a 16. I know that monk DC is based in, typically is a wisdom check. So let's go ahead and put that 16, or rather it's a 17 over in wisdom. Con is a no-brainer. We got to bring that one in at 15. We're going to need hit points. So then we've got this athletics here. So normally I would not put that other 14 in athletics. I would probably put it somewhere else. But since we already picked athletics, we're going to go ahead and put it here. So that's our 15. So we've used a 15, 15, 17, and a 16. Now we have a 12 and an 11, intelligence or charisma. I don't know. They're basically the same score. 1 through 3, intelligence. 4, 5, 6, charisma. It's a 1. So the high score, the 13 goes into intelligence. The 12 goes into charisma. There are those abilities. Next thing we're going to do our background. And this is where we're going to choose a custom background. Now, when we use the alternate rules to give us a custom background, we can choose one of 3 options. We can choose 2 skills and 2 tools. We can choose 2 skills and 2 languages. We can choose 2 skills, 1 tool, and 1 language. What we're going to do is we're going to let the dice decide for that. So we had 3 options. We're going to roll our D3, D6. We're going to either get 1 and 2 for 2 skills and 2 tools, 3 and 4 for 2 skills and 2 languages, and 5 and 6 for 2 skills, 1 tool, 1 language. That's a 6. So 2 skills, 1 tool, 1 language. And that's our custom background. So our first skill, we got acrobatics, animal handling, arcana, deception, blah, blah, blah. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of these. So we're going to roll a D32. Which is basically a 12 and a 20. It's a 23. We take our 23, we divide it by 2, and we get, well, if we divide 1 by 2, we get 1. So if we divide 23 by 2, we get the same thing as we get 24 by 2, so it's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Performance. Odd skill for this particular person. Let's roll that again. That is an 8. Deception. Okay. Really not playing to our strengths here. But given all of that, I think we're going to take a tool proficiency in a forgery kit. Because I think I'm getting an idea of like who our monk is, which is that they're not very good at their job. And then based on all of this, I'm going to make some command decisions here. I'm going to take this 12. I'm going to move it into strength. I'm going to take this 15. I'm going to move it into charisma. And I'm going to take this athletics and turn it into acrobatics. Sometimes you just got to do it because now our character is making a little bit more sense. They can yeah, this character makes more sense now. I could have moved that Constitution up, but I am not going with no hit point. No hit point monk is a bad idea. All right. So now we need to choose a couple of languages. We are not going to choose languages. The reason we're not going to choose languages is that we're going to get into a situation, and if we need to speak a language, we're going to roll to see if we need to speak it. So we'll just figure out our first 2 languages when we get there. Let's get some physical details down. We're playing female, because I usually do. Hair is brown, eyes are brown. Size is medium, of course. Height. So when you make decisions about how tall your character is going to be, there are some rules that we can follow. So we've got a human here. So our base height is 4'8". And we roll a d10. I know I've got one. Here we go. We're going to roll a d10 to get our modifier. It's an 8, that's 16. 4'8" plus 16 inches. How tall is that? That's a solid 6 feet, right? Yeah, it's 6 feet. Then we roll a d4. Nope, we roll 2d4. It's 2 and 2 for 4. We take 16 times 4, which is 32, 64. 6 foot tall, 174 pounds. This is not a small woman. 6'4", 6 feet tall, 174 pounds. That's a big person. But hey, that's what we've got. So we've got this human monk, very tall, probably a very striking person, if you should happen to meet her out in the street. Somebody who, looks brawny, but is not all that strong, but is surprisingly dexterous. So this is somebody who's going to be much lighter on their feet than people expect them to be. And they're quite charming when they want to be, with that 15 in charisma. So that'll take care of that. So we know we have this person who is 6 feet tall. We know they weigh 174 pounds. How old are they? So I usually start characters at low level. So low level character, I'm expecting them to be kind of young. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with 25, and we're going to plus or minus a d10. And the way we're going to do that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to subtract from 25. 6 through 10, we're going to add to 25. So it's how much older or younger are they than that age. So that's a 9. So we're going to add 4 to our 25. So 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So this person is 29 years old. Young, but not super young, kind of starting out in this career, but depending on what we roll for level, maybe has been doing what they do for a while. Now, another thing we want to do with our custom background is we have to choose an option for a background feature. And there's so many of these I don't like to roll for them. Based on the deception, the performance, and the insight as skills, who would have those skills? I think a spy has those skills. So that's the background we're going to choose. Criminal/spy, somebody who's undercover. How did they get into this? What got them into this particular job? And with this kind of, I'm going to say entertainer, right? Like, let's say this is somebody who starts out life, they think they're going to be, maybe they think they're going to go into being a bard, and a performer, a charlatan, somebody who's doing, oh, no, I like that. We'll go with background of charlatan. Because that kind of paints a picture. We've got somebody who maybe, starts out thinking they're going to be a charlatan, they're going to do a lot of, you know, and in doing so, they somehow fall in with this order of monks, and they're now being asked to do, you know, to use those skills, that deception and all that for good, or, you know, or for evil, but in the service of another organization. And that will get us to trying to figure out our personality traits based on those things. So let's go ahead and see what our options are for that. So personality traits, we roll a d8 and choose 2. So here's a d8, here's a d8. 2 and 1. Falls in and out of love easily, always pursuing someone. Has a joke for every occasion, especially occasions when humor is inappropriate. Ideals 1 through 6. Aspiration, determined to make something of myself. What are my bonds? Let's see. We have 1, I fleeced the wrong person and must work to ensure that this individual never crosses paths with me or those I care about. Okay, we'll take that. We'll take that. We'll see where we go with that. And let's go with finally a flaw. I mean, inappropriate joker sounds like a flaw, but I don't like this one. I'm not taking it. It rolled it again. I guess we're taking it. Always in debt. Oh, that's going to suck to play. It really is. We're going to have to try to bear it, just lean into that as much as we can. And so it is legit to min-max. We could build the perfect character if we wanted to build the perfect character. And I think that's a perfectly great way to play. And if I were running in a group, I would probably do more character design on my own and come up with things that weren't things that I kind of was like, I don't know how I'm going to play that. But this is solo play. And one of the advantages of solo play is just trying things out. It's a little bit lower stakes than playing with a group. The only fun that can get ruined here is your own. And, you know, this is an opportunity to work with things and see how different combinations might work out, whether this works at all. Because if it doesn't, you can just abandon the whole campaign. It doesn't matter. We could abandon right now. We could say, okay, this character sucks. We're not playing this. But we're not gonna. But I think we're about ready to name this character. And to name the character, we're going to pick a real names from the name generator. Everybody knows the names generator. I usually go with European names and then something that's in my own background just because, you know, why not? So in this case, I'm going to go with Scottish names. Because I am Scottish on my mother's side. So we'll get some women's names. We got a list of 10 here. Charlie. That is down there as a woman's name. That is not a woman's name. We're going to go with this one. Iona Millar. Iona Millar. Giant We're going to go with an alignment of true neutral because it's a great place to start. We can always change as we go, becoming more chaotic or more evil or more good, depending on how we feel. Alignment, true neutral, lifestyle, modest. Although we do apparently try to live above that. We have our character. Now we're not done, because if we're running solo, that means that we need to have something to back us up. We need a sidekick. And the question is, what kind of sidekick do we want? So with our sidekicks, we have three types. We can have an expert, which is kind of like half a rogue, a spellcaster, which is like half a wizard, or a warrior. And I think that in this particular case, we've got our monk. Monks are pretty skilled. The thing we don't have is we don't have a caster. And we might want a caster to be able to do caster things. And the thing about having a caster is that any creature that we have that's going to be in the spellcaster cast has to have one language to its stat block that it can speak. So we're going to have to pick an animal that works that way. And our challenge rating is going to be 1/2 or less. Now, when I say animal or beast, I don't actually mean that. We're going to have to pick a monster. So I'm going to go grab my DM's guide, which I do not have out here for some reason. One moment. So let's look at our challenge ratings here. Challenge of 1/2, we've got... Do we have anything that's not a medium humanoid type creature? Because we've got, lizard folk, deep gnome. These are monsters that would have a satyr, a scout. These are all monster stat blocks that would speak a language. Quarter. Do blink dogs have a language? That is an excellent question. We've got Sprite. That's definitely something that speaks a language. All right. And Flying Sword. So I'm going to look at all of these things and see what they are. So let's look up our Flying Sword. Flying Sword is a construct. It doesn't speak any languages. We can't use that. Let's look at our Blink Dog. Blink Dogs speak Blink Dog. And they have an intelligence of 10 and a wisdom of 13. I think we have a Blink Dog. That is our sidekick. Our sidekick is a Blink Dog. And they are a spellcaster. They understand Sylvan, but they can't speak it. So that gives us one of our languages. We speak Sylvan because we have to, because we need to speak to our Blink Dog. So, where do you put languages on this card? No. We speak Sylvan. Okay. So that's one of the languages that we speak. All right, what's our Blink Dog's name? His name is Finley. That's his name. I would roll for it, but Finley, for various reasons, just works for me. Finley is a spellcaster. They're going to use Blink Dog stats. We'll fill that in at some point. They're a Blink Dog. How do they cast spells, you ask? Without components? Good question. And the answer is, I think they use components. But I think they also have like a spell casting component for basic stuff. It's a collar around their neck. That is what he's going to use to... so they have a spell casting component. Or a spellcasting focus, which is around their collar or on their collar. And they can carry other components, and we'll figure out how that goes. It's a free action to engage with things, so maybe I can... we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. So we can pick, like, spellcasting rolls, which is at first level. So they can pull off they can be a healer and pull off the cleric and druid spell list. They can be a wizard and pull off the wizard list, or they can be a prodigy and pull off the bard and warlock. Well, let's see. Our Blink Dog is a 12 in strength. They're 17 in dex. They're 12 in con. They're 10 in intelligence. They're 13 in wisdom. And they're an 11 in charisma. So I think, no brainer here, wisdom is the one that we can bump up if we get ASIs, which we do eventually. So they are a healer, which is super useful for us. We have a dog that can cast Cure Wounds. Next question, what level are we? This is the last bit of our session 0. We're going to roll a d4. I am not going to go to level 4 because of the Blink Dog. You know what? We're going to start at level 1. And we're going to see what happens as we get this thing up to level 3. Now, we haven't really decided a lot of things, like what kind of equipment we have, or anything like that. And we will pick that up as we go. The first thing we'll do is we'll just decide that we're going to start life with 10 gold pieces. We have 10 gold pieces. We have no armor. We have a forgery kit. We have 10 days of rations. We got a torch. We got a water skin. And depending on where we end up, we may end up with a tent. And what do I mean by where we end up? Well, so we've kind of built our characters. We have some idea of who Iona is. We have some idea of what she does. So let's go ahead and take a moment to start our campaign by first deciding where we are. So let's take some notes here on what we decided in our backstory. We decided that Iona has and the trait where she has to keep somebody from ever seeing the people she cares about, I think I'm going to switch that up just a little bit. She did try to swindle the wrong person, and that's how she got into this game. So she was a petty crook and a con artist. She conned the wrong person. She did con the wrong person. And then she tried to get sanctuary with the priests of some god, with some temple. She got sanctuary with some temple, now works for them. Doing whatever it is that they need her to do. So that's Iona. Question is, where is she? So we're going to start this campaign basically right now. And we're going to start it with a tool that I built that just has some stuff in it. I've got a big city. I've got a town. I've got a hamlet. I've got a big bunch of plains. I've got a big bunch of forest over here. There's some forest over here. There's some Piedmont here, some Piedmont here. These are like foothills to like these big mountains. And the question is just, where am I? If we land on a city, then we'll make another decision after we land on the city. And then I got 1 to 20 here, 1 to 20 here. So vertical, horizontal. We got a 10. We got an 8. 10, 8. Interesting. Okay, so that puts us on the borders between the plains and the hill country. So we're just at the edge of the hill country, either coming in or coming out of the hill country onto the prairie. So that's where we're going to open. What time of day is it? I use a 1 through 4, early morning, late morning, early afternoon, late afternoon. It's a 3? 3, yes. Okay. So we're going to open early afternoon. Iona stands. Iona walks across a high prairie. The land is leading up to the hill country. And now we're going to find out something about this by using a different tool. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need my 6th. Where is my 6th D12? Here it is. So I've got my D12s. I'm using a tool called the Solo Adventures Toolkit. To see what happens. 12 is a monster. 6 is nothing. 3 is nothing. 2 is nothing. 4 is nothing. 9 is a random event. So let's resolve that first off. That is really interesting there. Okay, so for a random event, we are going to use our oracle. Okay, so we know that we've got a monster that's attacking us. And we know that in having a monster attacking us, or maybe even not attacking us. So let's find out something about this situation. And we'll do that by using one of our oracles. Actually, there's another thing we can use for this. Encounters. Generating more encounters. There we go. So bearing in mind what's happening here, a random event has happened to us. It's going to involve a monster. We know that. "19, we find something." Okay. We find an item or an NPC. Okay. 1 or 2 is an item. Evens is an item. Odds is an NPC. Evens is an item. We find an item. Okay. What kind of item do we find? It's a good question. Well, we can find an item off of this D100 list we've got there. "22. Caltrops. Okay. We notice a sprinkling of caltrops on the ground along the path. We are walking not just through the hill country. The footpath is well traveled. We notice point of a caltrop poking from some grass, because we are in the plains, so we're in the grasslands, strewn across the path. This is a clumsy trap that we have spotted. So this indicates to me that there might be somebody hoping to hobble a traveler and then possibly rob them, which means somebody is probably watching us. So let's roll a straight roll for our hypothetical. That's a 10. Our hypothetical person who's hiding, or individual who's hiding, rolls a 10 for concealment. And we, with our perception, that doesn't even beat our passive. The +3, that's a 15 on our perception. So we definitely spot them. Who do we spot? All right. This could be a hard encounter. This could be a medium encounter. This could be an easy encounter. This could end up being a deadly encounter. We're level 1, so it's almost certainly deadly. So it's a 1, though, so this is going to be a fairly easy encounter, which is the point where we realize, hey, we didn't roll hit points. But we don't roll hit points because we're level 1. So as a level 1 person, we have 14 hit points. It's a level 1 monk. But our sidekick also doesn't roll for hit points. But Finley, he's got 22 hit points. And it has now become important for us to make some Finley-type decisions. So he is going to pull from we're just going to use the recommended healer ones. So he knows Cure Wounds. So I think it was on the back of the sheet. No, that's equipment. Features and traits, other proficiencies and languages. Features and traits, attacks and spellcasting, he knows. Cure wounds. He knows guidance. And he knows Sacred Flame. Crazy. Okay. Nice, Finley. Nice. All right. I really wish there were a way to put that on the sheet. But we'll stick with it. So, and he has, how many spell slots does he have? Spellcaster table. He has 2 first level spell slots. We'll just put those here. At first level. So he has 2 first level spell slots. Okay. And we'll clean up these sheets offline. All right, so we've decided that that's what we know about Finley. We have a short sword. That is the only attacking thing that we've got going on for us because we're a monk. All right. Actually, we've got a quarterstaff because it's our walking stick. So we'll make that change to our inventory. Managing our quarterstaff. Going to add that to our equipment. I have a couple of daggers. Everybody should have a couple of daggers. We will delete the short sword. We will equip the quarterstaff. Sad but true. All right. We're doing less damage, but that's fine. Okay. So we definitely see this, guys. Who are these 2 people that we see? Or 3 people, or 4 people? Who put them here? We look around. I muttered in Sylvan to Finley, and I say, "Well, Finley, looks like there's someone laying a trap for us." And we'll see what Finley says. Finley makes a perception check. He's got advantage for perception checks involving smell. That's a 17 plus a bunch. And so, you know, he sort of gestures and points to tell me where it is that he thinks he sees somebody. What do we see? So this is a humanoid, but what is their level? So we've got some encounter tables. And we're going to use the 2 PC version of the encounter tables that we find in the Adventurer's Toolbox because there's 2 of us. This is an easy one. So we should use the level 1 medium encounter. Level 1 medium, we roll a d4. That's a 4. So with a 4, 2 CR zeros. Okay. So we need 2 CR zeros that are would drop caltrops. I might bump this up to 3. I'm going to bump this up to 3. Or 2 1/4. Let's try 2 1/4. This is going to be this would be considered deadly for one solo PC, according to this. And our CR 1/4 are going to be 2 acolytes. And let's see if they kill us or if we live. So let's draw ourselves a battle map. Now, things we've established. We have established that there is some kind of footpath going along. So let's say it's about it's kind of going through our gets a little wider, gets a little narrower, gets a little wider, gets a little narrower, a little wider. There's a point where it kind of goes around this turn, da 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 da. So that's our path. And then aside from our path, we've got not much to hide behind. So these guys, there's a bit of an outcropping over here. It's just a dip. Kind of goes down here into like just a little down spike into a lower piece of the hill. So this is lower, higher, lower, and yeah, we'll say our elevation kind of does this. There's this outcropping, then it goes up, then it goes down to where the path is, and then it kind of goes up again. And I think these guys, we spot them over here. There's 2 of them, and they're both acolytes. Our caltrops are here. Well, they're here. They're all over that place. I am here. Iona's here. Finley's here. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I see this and I'm like, okay, Finley, let's just go around. So we're going to start walking this way. And the question is, what do the acolytes do? So I'm going to have them roll a D100 to see what they do. And this is basically to see whether they go, oh, they saw our trap, we'll let them go. or if they decide to attack anyway. 22. 22, they intend to attack. So now we're going to roll some initiative. So let me find these guys and get their stat blocks. So I'm just doing a little combat tracking here. I just want to be able to get to everybody's stats. Everybody rolls initiative. We will start with the first acolyte. We will call him Acolyte 1. We'll call this guy Acolyte 2. Acolyte 1 has an initiative of 13. I don't see any pluses for initiatives at all. Okay. So he rolled a 13. Acolyte 2. Acolyte 2 rolls a 7. I roll 14 plus 4 is an 18, so Iona is an 18. And Finlay rolls he should be a +3 on his initiative. 13. He rolls a 13 on the die. So Finlay is a 16. Actually, do the acolytes get a bonus on their initiative? No, they get no bonuses because they're all straight 10s all the way across. So his initiative is 13. His hit points are 2d8. It's an 8 and a 6 for 14. Acolyte 2 at initiative 7 has 6 hit points. Okay. So our order is going to be Iona, Finlay, Acolyte 1, Acolyte 2. So we're over here. I see that these guys might be about to attempt something. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But they're like 50 feet away. No, they're not. They wouldn't do that. That would be stupid. They are much closer than that. They're up here. They are just a little over 30 feet away. So, I think I want to close with these guys. I'm going to see if I can make an acrobatics or athletics check. Let's call it acrobatics. Everything I do is going to be acrobatics. And that's just to, well, this is only a 5-foot jump, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To try to get closer to these guys. Now, sadly, I don't have anything else. but I do have a dagger. And so I'm going to get close up here, and that's going to get me like here to where I can actually see them down there. So now I'm up here. So I'm going to huck a dagger at Acolyte number 1. That is a 7 plus 6 is a 13. 13's going to hit. So come up over the edge, huck a dagger. 13 hits, they get 1d6 plus 4 damage. That is 5, that is 9 damage. So that will bring them in one shot down to 5. So Acolyte 1 is now at 5 HP. We'll look around. 2 people hiding. I charge. Getting close. Throwing my dagger. Big damage. And now it is Finley's turn. What can Finley do? Let's see. He can cast Sacred Flame, right? And he can teleport 40 feet. And he can teleport, and he can make 1 bite attack after he teleports, but I don't think he can teleport and do that. So Sacred Flame has a range of 60 feet. Must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 radiant. The target gains no benefit from cover for this saving throw. I think Finley's going to save his spells. He's a simple dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Finley is going to teleport directly behind this guy and attempt to bite him. It's an 8 on the die. Finley's bite is plus 3 to hit. That's an 11. This guy's armor class is 10. So that hits. And he does 1d6 plus 1 damage. 6. So he had 5 hit points left. 0. So I chuck a dagger into this guy. Finley blinks out, appears behind him. Appears behind. And bites him in thigh. Bleeds out. So that's it for Acolyte number 1. So he will leave our initiative order. Bring us to Acolyte number 2. So I think at Acolyte number 2, they're sitting here, they're planning this ambush. They see what's happening. I'm gonna roll again to see if he is just gonna. Is he gonna stay in this thing, or is he gonna, is he gonna attack? Is he gonna run? What's he gonna do? 2. He is gonna move for tactical advantage and attack. So, he's seeing that we're dangerous up close. And let's see. He's got Sacred Flame as well. And that's a 120-foot spell. His speed is 30 feet. I think he is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He is going to try to move off the map here. And he is going to try to Sacred Flame me where I am right there. The Battle of Sacred Flame. So I must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take some damage. So let's see what I do. That's a nat 20. I don't even need to know what his DC is. So I take no damage, but that was his movement and his action. Does he have any special bonus actions? I don't think he does. He does not. So, yeah. I'm up. I don't like this guy. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here. Chase it after this dude. And I'm going to chuck my second dagger. That one's going to miss because I'm chucking on the run. Finley. Reaches his teleport on a 4 to 6, so that's a 1. He doesn't get his teleport back. So Finley's going to Sacred Flame this guy, and he's going to run towards him. His speed is 40 feet, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He can just get to him. Finley is a simple dog. He's a dog of simpleness and ease of life. He is just going to jump up here and try to bite this guy. He's going to use a different die. It's a 16 on the die. Don't even need to know the modifier. He gets a hold of him. And he does 3 plus 1, 4 piercing damage. So he gets this guy for 4 piercing. And this guy is really a hurting unit. He's down to 2 HP. Now the Acolyte's turn. I think he is going to continue to try to run. Well, first he's going to take a swing at Finley because Finley's right there. So he's going to take a club attack. That's a 10. He gets no pluses to hit, I don't think. He's plus 2 to hit, so that's a 12. Finley's AC is 13, so that misses. Then he's going to attempt to run. Finley's going to take an attack of opportunity. He's going to get a 19, do 5 damage, and this guy is going to die. So, second man runs, turns, Sacred Flame. I dodge. I pursue. Throw a dagger. Miss. Finley pursues. Catches. Bites. Man swings at Finley. Miss. Runs. Finley finishes him off. And that is the end of that. So we're at about an hour and a half on this session so far. And I think we're going to close there. So we just opened up. We've created a character. And we immediately had a fight scene. And so the questions we have to ask ourselves are, because we don't know this yet, what are we doing here? Who were these guys? Those are the questions that we will start our next session with. Until then, well, let's see if anybody's even watching. That's worth knowing, right? Honestly, dude, I can't tell. But if you're watching, thank you for watching. And have a amazing rest of your day. And these will eventually be scheduled. But for now, it's kind of catch as catch can. This will probably be a real short campaign as I'm working out the kinks. And then we'll do something longer and more intense after that. So... see you soon.